Hello fellow nerds on the internet, today we have a very enticing game that will be incredible to watch. Just to say, we are playing Kiku versus Hudrik. This opponent is rated at 1800 elo rating points and we are going to see how this turns out. So let's take a quick look at the map. We have a equal amount of villages on both of our continents here. We have a nice river in the middle. Both of our continents, actually this one has another ruin, but this one is closer to me and then this one is just up for grabs. Actually their continent seems to be kind of connected to this other continent, but we have an equal shot, so to say, to get to that. So let's just get into the gameplay, shall we? Because this is a doozy. It is incredible. I will turn on the replay fog here and we will see what happens. So, just standard opener here. Nothing too particular. Except for this one. This player here decides, you know what? We're gonna go economy. Because that's what you do on continents, is go economy. We miss our first village here. Yeah, that's nothing to say about that. Opponent goes economy, as stated before. Find a village. Now doing some quick maths here, we see that there should be a village here. And at least it's very probable, because there's no other way for this guy to be here. So we can grab a hunting to upgrade this city. And together with the lighthouse and a port, we will be able to upgrade our capital here. Really nice. So the opponent here has this incredible play here to get their economy basically up to scratch as compared to Kiku here, which is incredible because this is a turn 0 tribe. So important decision here, we decide to get onto the water really early on because, well, I've played against this opponent before, you see, and this opponent is really greedy. And that is really fun to play against, as you will see by the number of things that happen in this replay. But getting onto the water is pivotal in continents, of course, because you have to get there. Either you can get through the to the water with a bridge, or you can get a navy, and Kiku of course is excellent for getting a navy early on because he gets fishing, of course. Hudrik with the forestry. No upgrades. Bizarre gameplay. Of course that would mean a lot of shops, so it would make sense. We go for an explorer here, from which we reveal our opponent, but not that lighthouse. But we do get to see the capital, as well as this ruin here, which we will be able to grab most likely. And then we can start getting onto the water here. Do a couple of upgrades. So we're on par in terms of economy here. Actually, they're in the lead. But we are on the water, so that makes sense. We have better infrastructure. Do a couple of upgrades. As mentioned before, hunting, really nice. We actually managed to do that with the port connection instead. So economies neck and neck, but we are in the lead in terms of getting onto the water. We see a ruin. Lovely stuff. Opponent gets math. Math rush, baby. If I've ever seen one. Math is incredible on continents. It gets so much value. You can make incredible plays, especially with Hudrik. They are of course known for their dense forests, and you can get incredible value. So Couple of upgrades. Of course, the downside is that lumber huts are generally not that great. We get sailing just to grab this ruin here, as well as explore the rest of the map. This will halt our economy for a bit, right? So that is a risk that we take here, because we see that there is a way for us to get onto the water, or at least to the other continent, without committing to a navy, but we decide to go for this just to grab that ruin, because it may pay off. Couple of upgrades. Grab another explorer just to see what's in store. And we see this subcontinent, which we can get to with the sailing. So it already makes sense here that we grabbed sailing, at least to me. Opponent really starts getting off their economy, as well as the first giant of the game on turn 7. That is very early. And they actually managed to snatch up the first place at this point. Also, let's just think about that economy. You know, 15 stars per turn on turn 7 is good. Very good. And then with the stars they get from us, they can actually upgrade even more. Look at that economy! That is bonkers! I don't think I've seen such a decent economy in ages. At least not with lumber huts and such. Remember, they did not take a single explorer yet. That is risky behavior, if you ask me. So we grab this ruin and that ruin. So this pays off already. This manages to give us the opportunity to get a giant as well on turn 8. Just one turn behind them. But this giant is way more of a nuisance to us than this will be to them. Because, of course, one, they have math. Because, you know, Hodrick. So they can get catapults. And two, this guy is in a position where it can threaten this city in just a couple of turns, especially with a bridge, which would be here, or with a port, which could be here, or a bridge could be here. So we saw this, and we had to think about that for a bit. So yeah, we start really getting onto the water, not making any scouts though, because they are expensive. I want to save on my stars for that. A couple of free upgrades. Look at that economy though. That economy difference is massive. We end our turn on 16 and they start theirs with 18 on turn 8. That is incredible resource management from the opponent here. See another upgrade. We see that giant coming in, which is scary. And I noticed that, so I was thinking, I have a Park of Fortune. What can I do to get this city to a border growth as to block them from putting a port down here and just wrecking me? So that's what we do. We upgrade the city. There you go. Border growth moment. Just delaying this giant from being useful, which puts it just on par with our giant, which makes the game so much more equal, except for the fact that we are on the water and they aren't, but they have the better economy. So still anyone's game at this point. They must have been so mad at this point. They'll be like, nah, bro. How did you read that? Because they did not have vision. Let's turn off the shared fog here. This is what our opponent sees. They have no clue what we're up to. And that is all part of their plan. They just go for economy. They don't just build an economy, no, they just go for it. So they get roads, and if you've seen one of those content creators, or a couple of them actually, out there, you will know that roads lead to trade, and trade leads to wins. Because economy wins games, guys. It's, let's be honest, economy is important. It will win you a game. We get another pop ruin. Really lovely. We get mats as well, because we see this giant and we see all of this going on. We see this bridge opportunity, even though we don't know that they can do that yet. Right? Oh, we do. So we see that, so we know that they will be having a opportunity here to attack us from this side. So we need to get some defenses up. And this is just in time. So they get trade, they spot this here, and they immediately mark it up. Still playing greedy as heck, but that economy is 24 stars per turn on turn 10 with just 4 cities. Incroyable. But as we will see, there is a downside to this strategy. This is a misplay. I definitely meant to get a giant here, which I didn't. Super silly, super stupid. That's what I get. So I was counting their stars per turn at this point because I was just so cautious about this opponent. I know what they will do if they get the economic lead. So yeah, we have to make a move here. We land our giant here just to pressure them into not making more markets. But because we see that they didn't get any explorers, we are actually quite confident that they don't have vision on what I'm cooking up here. And they also don't know that we have control over these islands. Neither do they know that we have this village over here. So really greedy plays need to be greedily punished. So they have no clue what's going on. They just built that economy. The economy must be built. This right here is a good play. It doesn't allow us to siege the city and get rid of this and get the lighthouse. It also pressures this catapult here, but we have just the answer. Look at that economy, 31 stars per turn on turn 11. Incredible. Get sniped, bro. So this catapult was actually already in a very lovely position where it could hit this city as well as any giants that might be lingering around here. But at this point it is just preventing them from making useful units over here since they don't have defense or anything. And they don't have vision on me, so they can't even get a archer in here to try and snipe this guy. So nice play here. We can also get this giant onto a port, like next turn, and threaten this city with 2 giants instead of 1. Just assuming that this giant will survive for long enough. We denied them that village. They didn't. They don't deserve it. Get that lighthouse. Get another giant. By extension. There you go. So their economy is just much better than ours, but we have an army lead that is very significant, as well as a strategic point of advantage, where we have not only more cities, but also a very strategic control over not only the water, but also any access points from them to us, because this is the only port they can build here, which we can deny them. And these ones are just very slow, and we can deny this as well. So we are doing really well in terms of strategic containment of the problem here. But the other problem is, of course, these markets, which will win them the game in the long term. So just before we get into the later parts of this game, make sure to like and subscribe. These videos make me happy, but they also take a lot of work. So make sure to like and subscribe, of course. Just putting it out there. And let's just continue our analysis here. Another market, 37 stars per turn. We're getting in a pickly position here in terms of our giant. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units here. 3 of which are archers. And this giant is also just about to be roaded in or something. We siege the city. That's just a free siege at this point. We get that lighthouse. Really lovely. Deny that water access. We are quite certain to get this village, because they need to either focus their archers and put one over here and one over here, and they won't be able to with this setup. So we will get this village, except if they get this eroded in, but that's quite a decent investment of stars, and they want to put all of their units into this giant. So do some more upgrades. That was a visual glitch. Really interesting. Upgrades, 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 just to barely scratch the surface of their economy. And if you take a look at the turn length, it's about to reach a tipping point where our opponent is actually about to really pop off, so to say. So I was trying to be smart here, trying to also block them from unsieging, but now they had to invest just a couple of stars into getting a giant here, as well as another road here, in order to get this off of their village with a market, which is just fantastic. As you can see, the opponent is ready to get a giant, but we know this. Fun fact, we know that they can get that. It's really easy to get these 2 fruits, and what we're about to do is just going to make them quit. So we kill a couple of these units, free value, we defend our catapults in this case. We land this giant just to pressure them. We deny them to access this, because they had to use their rider in order to prevent this siege from happening. And here they give up. So yeah, this is really looking like a very cool game. We're about to get in this juggernaut, really pressure this city a significant amount, and if that would work, then, you know, I don't see them coming back from that. Even though they may have been able to pop a giant here, there's just so much support here with all of these units that this is not something that they will be able to keep up with, especially if we can get this catapult over here. That would really help us out. Yeah, just wow, these markets are so scary, man. They really need to get nerfed. We see another couple of things. We want to stop them from getting this fruit. We can get this one in as well, but that's just a bit more value. And there you go. That was the game. Really, really intense. Only 14 turns, but so intense. This really was a very cool game to play. And just to see, just to confirm this, at that point there were over 1800 ELO rating points. So if you're this player, good game. We had an incredible match. We had 2 matches before. Also, one of them was very interesting, the other one a bit less interesting. So yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.